Good evening and welcome to the next episode. And myself, Kumar. And as you know, I started Active Directory series on Windows Server 2025. And I already uploaded up to the 7 episodes AD architecture, install, and reach to the ADC domain controller. Now, today I'm going to start with episode number 8, concept of FSMO and how you transfer FSMO, including one design best practice. So please subscribe the channel and so that it's motivation for us to record few things, and very soon I am going to launch Intune and Azure series as well. So LogicIT.IN and you see we already have lots of Azure stuff, and in the playlist we already have Windows Server 2025 Active Directory. So let's move on to episode number 8, concept of FSMO and FSMO transfer. FSMO is a very critical component in AD. FSMO stands for Flexible Single Multi-Master Operation. FSMO comes in two parts: forest-wide FSMO roles and domain-wide FSMO role. In forest-wide, we have two roles: schema, second is domain naming master, and in domain-wide, we have three roles. One is RID master, one is PDC emulator, and one is infrastructure master. So two forest-wide roles and three domain-wide roles. So the concept is very simple. FSMO stands for Flexible Single Multi-Master Operations. When we have multiple domain controllers and all these domain controllers normally used to authenticate, but everyone can perform any job. But at a time, only one domain controller could hold this FSMO. It's a flexible but single master at a time. And in that case, we need to understand what is the use of these roles and what is the design practice and how we can see those roles and how we can transfer this FSMO role to another Active Directory domain controller. So in my case, I have two domain controllers right now. This is DC01 and DC02. So what is forest-wide roles? Forest-wide role is available in first domain controller of my forest. So example, I have a parent domain, I have a child domain. Parent domain is abc.com, and in this we have a two domain controllers. One is a DC01, one is DC02. So the first role, schema master, is on first domain controller of my forest. Schema master manage changes to the AD schema. It's only needed when schema is being modified, adding new attributes, adding classes. Example of schema is exchange. So if we don't have exchange, we don't have email address, email attributes. So as soon as we install exchange, it modify the schema and we'll get some extra attributes. So schema is nothing, it's a class and attributes. What is domain naming master? It handles changes to the domain namespace. When you add or remove domains, it ensures unique names across the forest. Example, my root domain is abc.com and my child domain is my us.abc.com, and I have two domain controllers in the child domain. So it makes sure if I'm using us.abc.com in my entire forest, nobody is or us.com is not used anywhere. So it makes sure the unique naming convention for my domains across the forest. RID master allocates block of RIDs to the domain controllers. RID are used to create unique SIDs for security principles like user and groups. So when you create a user always get a unique ID called SID. Example S016601 is for Kumar. I created another user. It got a unique SID 6602. So all the permissions in my AD, when we assign to a user, it always linked with the user SID. Example, if I delete a Kumar, I created a new Kumar with the same name, but definitely he will get a new SID, which is 6603. We need to reconfigure the permission because old permission is on old SID. So who will give this SID? It's RID master. PDC emulator acts like old NT4 PDC for backward compatibility, and it handles time synchronization, password changes, and group policy changes, group policy processing. And this domain-wide roles available in first domain controller of my domain. So my first domain controller of my forest holding forest-wide roles, and first domain controller of my domain holding 3 domain-wide roles. So by default, my first domain controller holding all the 5 roles. Child domain only holds domain-wide roles for us.abc.com. What is infrastructure master? It updates reference from object in its domain to objects in other domain as a group membership. So example, if I move a user from one domain to another, this will keep updating the group membership, user membership. And as a design practice, it should not be on the same machine where global catalog exists. So global catalog is a partial copy which stores all Active Directory objects information. We call it as global catalog. Global catalog is used for indexing, searching. Example, if you need to search something in Active Directory, it never touch the database directly. It get the information from global catalog. And some application also use global catalog. Example, Exchange. When you do a compose, search an email address, it automatically open a global address list for Exchange. Exchange always pick the list from the global catalog. And by default, each domain controller by default become a global catalog. And one design practice, global catalog and infrastructure master should not be on the same machine. So summary, all my domains, all first domain controller should have all my FSMO roles. So I have ADC, AD01, ADC02. Let me show you. So you see we have a two domain controller ADC02 and ADSRV01. Let me see I'm on which machine. ADSRV01. So I'll rename this ADSRV01, first domain controller, and the second one is ADC02. So first method to check is netdom query Fsmo. So you see all my 5 roles are in ADSRV01. This is through a PowerShell. Through graphically console, right click, change domain controller, and I'm connecting my ADSRV01. Right click, operation master. So RID SRV01 PDC infrastructure master. So 3 domain wide roles, you can check it in AD users and computers. Second is domain.msc active directory domain interest. Right click, operation master, which is the fourth role, domain naming master. And for schema, you need to register the schema, and for register the schema you need a command regsvr regsvr 32 schm Yeah, so I done it many years back. regsvr, so register the schema and then go to the mmc file, add remove snap in, then you will see the schema. Without that it's not visible. And schema is right click, operation master, ADSVR01. And schema, I told you, it's a classes and the attributes. So this way my all the 5 roles are in ADSRV01. Now as a best practice, this machine is my global catalog as well, and I'm transferring my one of the role, say example RID master, to the next machine or next domain controller. So right click, change domain controller, connect to the next one, ADC02, connect first, and right click, change operation master. So he's saying RID master, it's holding by this machine. Can I change to ADC02? So first you need to connect to the ADC02 and then you do the change. So my RID master is holding by ADC02 now. So if I do a netdom query, so my all roles are primary server ADSRV02 except RID master ADC02. So that's a concept how to transfer the role. Now, what happened if my server crash and the server holding one of the role? Then you need to seize the role forcefully and transfer to the server who is available. So I go to my ADC02 machine and right click, shut down. So it's like assume this machine is crash and the machine is holding one of the role called RID master ADC02. So in that case, how we forcefully transfer back to SRV02. So if I go to dsa.msc, right click, change domain controller, and definitely this is pending, the primary one. So right click, operation masters, so I get to know. It will take time because my RID is crashed. So now netdom query is saying RID is ADC2. So you see, RID is error, and my PDC and other things are still with ADSRV02. So how we seize the role? So go to ntdsutil, go to roles, connections, connect to server who is available, and this server is available, and my host name is ADSRV01. So connect to server ADSRV01, binding done, quit, back to the Fsmo maintenance, and SEIZE sees RID master. So do you want to seize the RID master? And it's as soon as you do seize, it automatically transfer because you are connected to the one of the server right now. Attempting safe transfer of RID master. Come on. So you see, so looks good. Quit, quit, clear screen, and run netdom query. So you see, all my roles are holding by ADSRV01. Even RID master is changed. After 1 day, my server is recovered. So if my server is recovered, this is my additional server. Definitely he will also say yes, RID is holding by SRV01 because it replicate back. So it take 2-3 minutes extra time. Now I log in back to my ADC02. Windows Server 2025 data center evolution 168 days. So CMD netdom query FSMO. So you see, already is holding by SRV01. He's also saying the same information. So looks good. So in this episode, we learned concept of FSMO and FSMO transfer, including how to recovery. So I merged this episode as well. We called as FSMO transfer and seizing together. Thank you everyone for watching episode number 8. We'll see you on the next episode, episode 9, AD replication.